Those same videos now, I charge $200 for 15 seconds, $375 for 30, and $475 for 60. And I'm not saying this to brag, but literally this morning, right before I got on this podcast, I just closed a $3,000 deal on Fiverr.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Paid to Travel, the UGC podcast. Today is cool because I have another podcast host on the podcast. Nate also has a UGC podcast called UGC 101, and he is super knowledgeable on all things UGC, especially when it comes to Fiverr. And that is a topic that I am not the biggest expert on. I very much focus on kind of diversifying like the platforms that you're working on, and then a lot of like outbound email pitching. So that is kind of my bread and butter. But Nate is just very knowledgeable on Fiverr, and I have people ask me about Fiverr all the time. And so I thought, why not have him on the podcast so he can give us all the tea on Fiverr? So Nate, welcome to the podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay, so if you're listening to this and you're new to UGC and you're like, what is Fiverr? What are platforms versus pitching? I'm gonna give you a quick little breakdown of that. So there's platforms, and then there's outbound pitching, and then there's inbounds. Like those are kind of the three ways that you get UGC deals. So platforms are things like Fiverr, Upwork, Billo, Coley, Popfly. There's literally hundreds of them. So many. And these platforms oftentimes, so they can look different. Fiverr is kind of different, and so we'll get into that. But a lot of these platforms are companies posting campaigns that then you can apply for. And so you don't necessarily have to have a whole portfolio built out. You don't have to be sending out email pitches to brands. It's more straightforward, and the campaigns are right there. You can apply to them basically by like uploading one example video and kind of a paragraph about why you'd be a good fit. So a lot of platforms look like that. It's a great place to start as a UGC creator. And then there's Fiverr that is a little different because you actually just set up what's called a gig. And so you have your basically services listed out, and your profile just lives there, and brands search for you and then hire you. So you're not actively applying to jobs. So we'll kind of get into that, and that makes sense why Nate kind of chose that route. So he didn't have to be applying to campaigns and pitching. It was more passively brands were coming to him. So that's kind of what the difference is between maybe typical platforms and Fiverr. And Fiverr is not a UGC specific platform. It is a freelancer platform, which we'll get into. But so that's platforms. And then there's outbound pitching, which is, DMing brands, sending brands emails. You are going to their inbox and saying, hey, I'm a UGC creator. Here's my pitch. Here's why you should work with me. Yeah. And then you have inbounds, which is like brands find you. So whether that's you have good SEO on your website, or you have a social media presence and brands find you that way. So those are the three ways that as UGC creators, we are getting jobs. So Nate, can you kind of give us a more deep dive overview into what Fiverr is as a platform?
Yeah, for sure. So like you said, Fiverr, it's unique. It's similar to Upwork, where they're the only two big names that are like not UGC specific platforms. So Fiverr's been around for over 15 years. They started as like hire a graphic designer / web developer or whatever, right? So there's copywriters on there. There's tons of voice actors on there. In fact, voice acting is the number one category on there. According to I talked to Fiverr, some people at Fiverr a couple weeks ago, and they told me that, right? So the reason UGC is doing so well, I think, on Fiverr is because they're a 15-year business. They've got a ton of employees over, as of 3 days ago, it was close to 1,700. They just did a pretty massive layoff a couple days ago, actually, hot off the press. And it's like they have a huge employee base, which means they're really, really targeting companies to get on these platforms all the time, right? Whereas opposed to like smaller UGC apps, because like the different UGC platforms, they may be like 10 employees there, and it's a little startup, and like, yeah, it's a great app, but like they don't have massive multi-million dollar budgets to go get brands to join their platform. So that's why Fiverr, I think, is doing so well. And I don't know, I don't want to like say anything wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're ahead of Upwork as far as like market share. And because they have built out this massive platform, there's tens of thousands of companies on there that could search that have buyer profiles that could search UGC mail, for example. And then hopefully I would come up as one of the results, right? And so that's one of the big questions people always ask, like, well, how would they find me? Like that, they don't know my name's Kim or whatever. They don't know my name's Julie. It's like, no, they're not typing your name. They're typing in UGC Gen X female to get to you, or they're typing like I come up when you type in UGC bald. I'm like one of the first people to come up. I got the market
That's
right
awesome.
on UGC bald, and like anything that like is in your description or things like that. So that's what Fiverr is, and the reason I love them too is because they're a massive company. Like if you ever do have an issue, like they're very quick to resolve it, and you actually get a real life person. You're not getting an AI bot and like some random support email that takes 3 days for them to respond to.
Yeah.
It's been really, really good for me to dabble and then eventually turn this into a full-time thing.
Yeah, I love that. Can you explain to me what a gig is?
Yeah. So a gig, I always explain to people, a gig is like if you've been on Craigslist, if you're 900 years old like me, and like when you type in like go to Craigslist services and you type in like lawn mowing or something, and people have their little listing with their little link, and you click on it and there's pictures. That's essentially what a gig is. A gig is your service, is your offering. Okay. And so when people, let's go back to the example. If people type in UGC bald because they need somebody to do a bald head shaver, and you'll be shocked, I have like 15 different brand bald head shavers. I've done so many for them. You're gonna get like a tiled page with everybody's gig listed. Okay. And that video you were talking about, that's called the gig video. I call it the audition tape because that's literally all it is. So they're gonna get a tile, a little 2x2 square on the website. They're going to see my picture. They're going to click on the video from there. And I have 10 seconds to impress these people. Right. And so that's what a gig is. And so you can have like when you're a brand new seller, you can have 4 gigs. So I always tell people have a general UGC gig that's like not niche specific, and then have 3 niche specific ones. Right. If you have a dog, do pet UGC. It's a massive search term. Do makeup UGC. For me, I could do outdoors UGC because I have access to these mountains, right? And so that's what a gig is. And so you can have multiple gigs, but you only need one video to have a gig, which is why I think Fiverr is the easiest place to start, right? Because you don't have to have a portfolio, because you don't really know what the hell you're doing with a portfolio anyways at the start. And so I tell people, create a gig on Fiverr, right? Use all the AI amazing tools we have out there to help you write a script, find a product, it'll give you a shot list, it'll give you all the ingredients to make this thing. And then once you have a video, you're going to start getting paid jobs. And guess what? Those paid jobs come from real life marketing teams. They come from real life products. And then you can take those videos and put those in your portfolio. Get paid to make your portfolio, right?
Yep.
And then it's going to be better. And I think there's this rush. And again, there's no bad way to do UGC. I don't think the only bad way to do UGC is to think that it's like fake and not do UGC. Like I hear a lot of people like, this is a scam. You're like, okay, it's a marketing term, but that's okay. And I think pitching's amazing. I think pitching's great if you can do that. And if you like can make a really good portfolio, and your portfolio is always going to be improving. But like if you're trying to do something that's like, hey, this is like a pretty low lift thing to get started, I think Fiverr is the best place to start, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. That's how I recommend people starting too, is with platforms, because it's so much easier. It's low lift. It's kind of low pressure. And I like the idea of, like you said, building your portfolio with actual work.
Yeah.
And so like in my program, that's what I suggest students do. I'm like, get on platforms, get some first jobs. It's fine if they're a, $20, $50 job. Like
who cares?
You're a beginner and you're learning. And
a week ago, no one was going to pay you $20 to make a video. Like what? You should be pumped. Someone's paying you real money to make a video to do something you have no idea how to do. That's wild.
I think there's so much talk on the internet from like some UGC gurus that are just very much like, you shouldn't be accepting low paying deals and like charge your worth and like, all this stuff. And there's so many people talking about how they're getting paid $1,000 for one video. And it's like, I think beginners get maybe this misperception that that's all that UGC is. And I think there's so much nuance to that, but like you have to start somewhere. Like you're not going to come in and land $1,000 deal. That's not how this works. It's like any industry, any career, you kind of start from the bottom, you work
You're
your way
paid.
up.
You're a paid intern, sometimes unpaid intern if you really
Yep.
like the product, right? Like
Mhm.
I would definitely say gifted collabs. If you get stuck in gifted collab land, in my opinion, you're never going to leave that land because it's really freaking hard to leave that land if you're known for the gifted collab as a gifted collab person.
Yeah.
Every company on the planet can afford $20 payment. If you can't, then you shouldn't be marketing, right? And you can literally start in 20. Like in Fiverr, I recommend starting your prices between $50 and $100. And the only reason I do that is because the 20 and 30, I think a lot of people think they literally can't hold a camera, right? And anyone can make an $80 video. My first gig was $80. I had no idea what I was doing. I held my phone, my first hook, I held my phone down here, like the worst double chin angle in the world. I'm like, what am I doing? I went back and looked at that video. I'm like, I cannot believe they accepted that. And they loved it and they gave me 5 stars.
I
Right.
love that. And think about it from the perspective of like you said, any brand can afford a $20 video. Pretty much any brand can afford a $50 video. Like even you and I, we would be considered like small businesses as like UGC coaches with our businesses, and we could afford to pay a creator $50.
Oh yeah, I've paid more for testimonials on my course. Like,
exactly.
That's crazy.
These are $1 million, billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
Trust me, they can pay you $50 for a video. I think that's maybe one debate or drawback that people kind of think about platforms in Fiverr is that they're lower paying. But what do you kind of think about that or have to say about that?
No, yeah, I will defend all these allegations. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about Fiverr. The first is that it's oversaturated. Okay. Am I causing that problem? Yeah, probably. I put 2,500 people on Fiverr. I've talked to Fiverr themselves, not my customer success manager, high ups at Fiverr 2 weeks ago saying, hey, we would love for you to help us get people off of voiceover gigs into UGC. We need more UGC. They're saying they need more UGC people. So like they're doing an insane heavy campaign right now to get UGC creators on the platform. Okay. And here's the other thing. There's lots of, think about the amount of brands out there that don't even know what we talked about this on my podcast, right? That don't even know what UGC is yet. So I think that's the big misconception. Oh, it's too saturated, which is not true. And then I think they think, yeah, you have to take low paying gigs. Yes, you should strategically start between $50 and $100. Again, today, no one is paying you $80 to do a video because you've never been paid to do a video for $80. So you should be not, I'm not saying, hey, be grateful, but like, hey, someone's willing to take a chance on you for $80. That's $80 more than you had. And especially most of these videos are not going to take you more than an hour to do. So you're getting paid $80 an hour. As a starting no experience person, that's insane. Any other industry, that would be crazy. So you're going to start low, but you're going to raise your prices very, very quickly. So like again, this is like a no BS podcast, right? I started 60, 70, 80 on my prices. And the reason we tier those is for 15, 30, 60 seconds. That's how Fiverr works. You have like 3 tiers, and most people just do, all right, 15-second video, 30-second video, 60-second video. So I was $60, $70, $80. Those same videos now. And again, off platform, like inbound, I do this like it's a little more expensive, but on Fiverr, like you kind of got to stay in the range of where people are. Those same videos now, I charge $200 for 15 seconds, $375 for 30, and $475 for 60. And I'm not saying this to brag, but literally this morning, right before I got on this podcast, I just closed a $3,000 deal on Fiverr for one brand. 10 podcast reads. I gave them a discount because I get to sit in this chair and do 10 podcast reads. So there's definitely budgets on there. If people are lowballing you, it's because you're not in the, like, if you have a $10 gig, guess what? You're going to get the worst of the worst customers.
Truly.
Like the worst. It's my, not to go on a tangent, but I got a good buddy that works. He runs the service department at BMW. And we got in this whole conversation. I got him in a UGC too. He does it on the side. He's a great guy. His name's Dan. Shout out Dan. And we were talking about this. He's like, dude, the people that bring in Hondas are the most, and if you drive a Honda, this is no disgrace to you, are way more difficult than the people that bring in the X3s.
Yeah.
Because they're just cheaper. Like they got a cheaper mindset. And so they're going to be way pickier. They're going to be way like harder to deal with. It is so true of UGC too. Think about all the inbounds you get right now, and like in your Instagram and TikTok, like, hey, we want to send you some jewelry. We can pay you $10 for 30 videos, and you're like, see you later, dude.
No, literally no.
So yeah, there's definitely levels to Fiverr, literally levels. Like you start as new, and then level 1, level 2, and then you can get eventually to top rated. And you can raise your prices as you go, and you can raise them as if you wanted to start today and put your first gig at $300, you could do that. You're not going to probably get hired for a while, but you could do that. But like, there's a whole strategy to it.
Yeah. Ooh, it's so interesting. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. I had a Fiverr, and this is actually not too long ago. Like last year, I was like, oh, I'll like try out Fiverr, and kind of like found some tips online, and I just had zero luck with it. Like I
Zero
like
luck.
literally like I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I'm probably doing something wrong. So if someone's listening to this podcast and they're like, no, same. Like I started a Fiverr and I just
It sucks.
never heard
Yeah,
anything.
let me give you the top like 5 tips. Okay,
Perfect.
you could go self-diagnose your Fiverr right now with these tips. Okay, this is free advice. So the first thing is, I guarantee most people that do, because I did this, okay, and I learned by trial and error, and it took me a long time to get to where I am at top rated, and I'm like a Fiverr vetted pro or whatever now. But I probably could have got there way quicker if I had this advice early on. A lot of people, they do the video, and their intro video on their gig, it's not a mock UGC video. It's a, hey, my name's Nate, and I would love to make a UGC video for you. I've done a lot of marketing, and like, if you want a balded beard guy for your millennial product, like, hire me. That's their video, right? And it's the same shot, and it's an introduction, right? So those do not perform well. I don't care what anyone says. I've talked to Fiverr themselves. They've told us straight up, there's data that says those do not perform well.
Yeah.
So if your video looks like that, you need to go change it to a mock UGC video. And if you're like, well, Nate, I've never done a video. Well, how do I do that? Do exactly what I told you earlier. Go grab a product you use all the time, a product you actually like. That's like key, okay? Because you can tell on your face if you hate this product. A product you use every day. Maybe it's your favorite keychain. Maybe it's your favorite water bottle. Pick your thing. And then you're going to go to ChatGPT and you're going to have it write a script for you. Hey, I need a 45-second UGC script and shot list for this product. And then follow that thing to the T. It's going to tell you what to film, what to say, how to edit that thing together, okay? That's going to be your video. Make sure you include captions, because as stupid as it sounds, people see that, because you got to think about these companies that don't know what UGC is. They're not going to do it, or else they'd already be doing UGC for their own company. They think that you figured out how to put the words on the screen, like this person is a skilled editor,
Literally.
right? So you're literally putting captions to show that you know how to put captions, not for it's just, that's the only reason you do it. So that's number 1. Your video needs to be mock UGC. Number 2, your description is probably too long, and it probably talks about your family life too much, or your personal interest too much. Your description on Fiverr, you have to look at it like a Google listing, because on Fiverr, everything runs, it's on its own little SEO ecosystem. Okay, SEO is search engine optimization. It's the same thing that gets different websites to show up first on Google, right? So you need to make sure you have a few elements in your description. Number 1, your age. You got to have your age in there, because the age is not, if someone says UGC millennial and I don't have the word millennial in mind, how the hell does Fiverr know that I'm a millennial? They don't, because
Right.
it's not in my description. So either your exact, I would recommend putting your exact age and then mentioning your generation somewhere later on. Okay. You like, an easy way to mention your generation at the end is like, so if you're looking, I think this is literally mine. So if you're looking for a bald bearded millennial with tattoos, you found your guy. Or
I love it.
Something cheesy as hell like that. So that's it, right? It has bald, it has bearded, it has tattoos, it has millennial, it has a lot of descriptors in there.
Yep.
The other thing you want to do is you want to list, and this is annoying, you want to list out all the platforms. You can use my ads on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat, Meta, X. Like, you want to list those out, because again, people are going to go in, and you got to think about your own habits. They're going to go ahead and type in UGC Instagram ads.
Yep.
And if Instagram's in there and UGC is in there and ads are in there, then guess what? You're going to come up to the top.
Yep.
So that's another thing. Make your description, and then make sure your title. Oh yeah, another thing you need to have in there. Sorry, your gender.
Okay. Yep.
Like, you can say wife, you can say whatever, you can say mama 4, but if your word female is not in there,
Yep,
it's not going to come up. Okay. You can put that either in your title or your description, and then just make sure your title, like the easiest way to get a good title is go in on Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, You don't have to even be signed up right now. The first thing that's going to come up is a massive search bar. Type in whatever you are. Type UGC mail in my case. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to see all the top rated people, and I'm just going to copy their title, right? There's not that many variations of title you can do. Just copy one of them. Copy one of the people that are balling out and copy their title, because that's all you're going to need, right? It's usually I will create UGC video ads for TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, or I will create UGC video ads for a product, brand, or service. I think that was my very, very first one. So those are like 4 actionable things you can do today. The other big thing that people always don't do is, or people never do, is you're going to, when you upload your video, your thumbnail on your video is very, very important, because when we're talking about how earlier, right? If I search UGC mail, I'm going to get a bunch of tiles of all these people, all these males and their gigs. The first image, it doesn't auto play these videos, so they're going to see a thumbnail. And I cannot tell you how many people send me their gig and their thumbnail is a random capture of the video of like someone's foot or someone's like no one wants to see the product of the water bottle. They want to see your face.
Yep.
Like you being you gets you 80% of the way there. You looking like you living where you are, and you being whatever you look like and age and all that is going to get you 80% of the way there. The other 20% is your video content. So if your thumbnail is not of you, at least at the very minimum, go into your gig, go to the gallery section, hover over your video. You'll see a little pencil, click on it, and then pick a frame that shows your beautiful face, because that's what you're getting paid for, and save it. Okay. That's going to be like easy step. If you want to go like advanced, go create a custom like landscape thumbnail on Canva. It's free. Type in YouTube thumbnail, pick any of those templates, and that's what you can do. And that'll be even better. And put mail UGC videos. That's what I have on mine. So those are like 5. I probably went too deep on that. Those are like 5 very easy, actionable things you can do. And you may go, it literally could be like my buddy, his thumbnail was the only reason he was not getting hired, because it was of the product in his hand.
Wow.
And he didn't realize that. And as soon as he changed it, he's the level 2 Fiverr guy now. So he's pumped about it.
It's so fascinating. And I just love like hearing different people's experiences with different ways of doing UGC, because it's like I've literally never done a job on Fiverr, and you're out here you're making your full-time income from Fiverr gigs.
yeah, it's wild. The same thing with me for like Upwork. Like I've never been on Upwork. We had a training in my community on Upwork last night, and I'm like, dude, I'm an idiot for not being on Upwork, right? But there's only so many hours a day. Like everyone's gonna pick their poison and find it. And like maybe it's, I mean, I'm super jealous of the people that are like out there just getting inbounds. Like that's money. Like if you can like build a really good personal brand and only get inbounds, I feel like that's the golden standard. But in the meantime, if you have a couple, like you never know, right? If you have a couple weeks where it's like dead, that's when you can like, you just want choices, right? You want all these platforms. I'm on like 5 platforms. Plus I post annoyingly all the time on social trying to get inbounds. And then the only thing I'm not doing is like actively pitching. But if I slow down on all these things, like you bet your ass I'll be out there pitching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you got to put your eggs in all these baskets, because you never know. And you can say no to stuff. If you have every platform reaching out at the same time, just say no. Just say no to 3 and then say yes to 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I like this because it just goes to show there's no right or wrong way to do UGC.
Yeah.
There's no one special sauce or one special thing. And I think that's probably what a lot of beginners get stuck on, is they see all of these UGC coaches, UGC gurus online who claim they have like the one thing that is going to
The
like,
one true path.
yeah, exactly. And I think it's like, no, it's not how this works. There's so many different ways that you can get into UGC. There's different ways that you can monetize. There's different platforms. There's, all these ways that you can get jobs. And I think what's cool about having conversations like this is just to show like you and I both make a full-time income from UGC, and we do it completely differently.
Completely different. Yeah. Is that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no bad. I freaking hate. I mean, most of the community is amazing. Let's say that, but I hate when I see certain, like I'll see ads of people that like are pushing out like, don't get on Fiverr and Upwork. They're the worst. This is why they're going to kill your. But I'm like, dude, you can say that like they don't work for you, but to get on and like just say that like a whole method doesn't work because it doesn't work for you just for clickbait and stuff like that. You cannot believe anybody that says stuff like that.
No.
I gotta like, I swipe past it. I'm like, I want to comment, but I usually don't. But yeah, there's no wrong way to do it. I love that. There's so many different. That's why I get frustrated when people are like, yeah, but it's just so hard. Like I'm not getting any deals. And then I'm like, especially in my community, they're like, hey, my Fiverr gig's dead. You told me it was going to work. And I'm like, okay, how many gigs do you have up? Oh, you have one? Okay. Can I see it? And it's like all those things I just mentioned, they haven't done because they just rushed through the course. And they didn't, or I'm like, okay, so your Fiverr gig's up. You have 4. Okay. What other platforms are you on? Did you create your socials yet? Have you emailed anybody?
Yep.
And there's like, you can't be a one trick pony early on. Maybe once you get to a certain level, you can be a one trick pony, but like at the beginning, you're trying to do all the things and see what sticks. Fiverr might not be your thing. Fiverr might not pop off. In fact, the girl that taught our Upwork thing, she's Upwork top rated. Her Fiverr sucked for like months, and it just started popping off in July.
Yeah.
And she's a great creator. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like sometimes you're going to have some platforms that work better for you. Like maybe some demographics are better on other platforms, and you got to just always control what you can control. But if you're not taking action, you're not going to get action. Like there's no way.
Yeah, UGC is about systems. Like that's literally all that it is, because there's a lot of UGC courses out there, UGC programs, stuff like that, and most of them work. Like if you follow the process and you follow the system, it's not this like impossibly hard thing to get into. It's just knowing like, okay, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, and I need to stick with this for a few months, and then it works. Like I have a literal guarantee in my program, because I'm like, if you don't make the money back that you invested in this program, something's wrong, because I
you're doing all the
that
steps. It's going to work.
Yeah.
Right. The people that don't make the people that I'm sure people come to you like, hey, I didn't make the money. You're like, hey, show me what you did. And they just didn't do anything. You're like,
didn't do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so do what I told you to do, and I literally guarantee you will make back money.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Because it's just all about systems, and like we've been doing this long enough that we know the process, and we know that when you stick with it, it works.
Yeah.
And not to say that it's not about skill, because it is as well, but truly like almost anybody can do UGC, because you don't have to be a crazy good editor. You don't have to like be the most energetic person or be incredible on camera. Those skills come with time. Like you'll get better with that over time. But like to start, you literally just need to be able to like sit down and talk to the camera or film some B-roll clips. And it's not that hard. Like that is not a crazy hard skill to learn.
Yeah.
And you can easily be landing $20, $50 deals like doing that stuff. But yeah, it's more about sticking with it, being persistent, and then just like having your systems in place, and it'll work out.
Yeah. Consistency is key. It's funny you bring that up. Like, I talked to a guy, he's a creative director of the agency, one of the agencies I work with. And he was telling me, I was asking him like, hey, like where's, a lot of people are saying that like UGC is changing to where like it needs to be a little bit more polished now. And he's like, dude, I'm actually seeing the exact opposite. It's like, we're seeing the ads right now, right? September 2025 that are performing the best are the lo-fi, no caption, no overlays, very low effort, like throw your phone up on the sink, skincare routines, one take. He said they're crushing for our brands right now. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so that you like don't even edit that. He's like, they literally send us the raw. We cut the front and the end, so like without them pressing the record button on the end, and that's it. We're running those just raw, and people are loving them. People are loving them, which is good, because our conversation last week talked about how we're like, everyone's worried about AI, right? And like, oh, it looks so polished. You can like, no, it's actually headed the opposite direction. Like the more B-roll, like less B-roll. So a lot of people get worried about the editing part, I think, and like, oh, I don't know if I can like do all those cool B-roll shots and like those cool transitions. It takes 30 seconds to learn that. It does not take long. It's CapCut does all the heavy lifting. But like to his point, and to kind of where trends are going back to is like what UGC was 3 years ago, before it got all fancy schmancy with B-rolls and CapCut edits and things like that. So it's interesting to see that, which I'm like, dude, I need more of those jobs. Give me those jobs,
No, I love that conversation, because this is something I tell my students all the time, and because I've seen it with my clients, like the videos that have the best ROAS and that perform great for brands, it's always the video that is just so simple and so just natural, and there's not a lot of editing, there's no sound effects, there's no nothing. It's literally just like me talking to a camera. and they perform so well because that's what UGC originally was and like was meant to be, is just literally customers talking about a product. So you want it to come
Yeah.
off as just very
Talking to a
in the
friend.
moment, authentic, yeah, talking to a friend. And I think there was this shift in UGC where, because UGC, where does that come from? It literally comes from this idea that, oh, we want to get testimonials from people who use our product. That's like how UGC started, literally
Yeah.
user generated content, the users of that product. And it's kind of morphed now into an industry that is more maybe based on kind of like acting and voiceover and
Salesy.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
we're not, we're paid actors. And so I think things have gotten kind of maybe a little lost in translation, where it's like, well, how do we still have this like natural, authentic customer feel, but also like sometimes we are reading a script and
Yeah.
it is, uh, you know, we are paid actors. And so how do we bridge that gap? Because no, it's not going to be the same as a customer who's been using this product for several months and they are just sending this brand an email being like, wow, this really changed my life or whatever.
Yeah.
It's different. UGC is different in that sense now, but we want to tap into that authentic, casual, genuine type of feel in our videos, because what UGC morphed into is ads. Like now it's like, okay, great, let me create this whole polished ad, let me write this whole script, let me have a hook and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yes, we still want those certain elements in our video, but we don't want it to look like an overly done ad that like the brand
Yeah.
created. So it's like, how do we find this middle ground? And I think it is a skill, like learning how to be authentic and genuine and casual while also incorporating elements that make ads perform well. But yeah, I think we lost a lot of what UGC is meant to be
Yeah.
for the past couple of years.
The pendulum is like swung too far.
Yes.
Right. And it's like, like even when I get scripts that are like, hey, we want you to do this, we want you to like match this ad, and the ad is just like a crap ton of overlays and special effects. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll do it, but like this is not gonna perform well,
Yeah.
Like another thing, that part of that other conversation with the agency too, the one other thing I forgot to mention is one thing they're seeing that's working really well is brands are telling the UGC creators, just say like serum or say like product, like use very general language until about the 30-second mark. So don't even say what this is. Hey guys, I found this cream that's cool. Like, because you're not saying the product name and it's keeping people hooked, right? Which is the exact opposite of some of the scripts I get. That's like, say the product name within 3 seconds.
Yep.
And the only reason they want you to do that is because they know people are scrolling at 5-second mark.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't say the product name, they're actually finding that like, oh, cool. And then at the 28-second, oh yeah, cool. This, yeah, it's actually Maybelline. So, and then, and then they just keep going, and it seems so much more unscripted, to your point. And it's funny because I think people, like, I post on socials to get brands to find me, right? That's the only reason us UGC creators post, because I want brands to like find me and they, oh, this guy seems pretty cool, I'll hire him. My videos that are like that are just grabbing the camera one takes, do not perform well organically. And so I think creators are like, oh, but that one, my explainer video that was actually really good, I added a lot of value, that didn't do well, so I must need more editing. And it's like, well, no, just because it doesn't perform well from like a virality standpoint doesn't mean it won't perform well on an ad.
Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting. It's almost like an opposite mentality now. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Like between managing the hook and especially when people give you creative freedom, it's like, well, I don't even like know where to start,
Yeah, I know.
because there's so many opinions about it.
Yeah, so many.
If you've ever said, I want to inspire people to travel, then I hate to break it to you, but you're probably inspiring nobody. I'm Laura, and I host the Travel Creator Podcast, the only podcast on the internet made for travel content creator growth. And I'm here to let you know that when you tell your entire internet community you want to inspire them to travel, they already know that. And it's kind of a byproduct of sharing what you already love. So when you talk to everybody, you're talking to no one. So my tip for you today is to get really clear on what kind of traveler you are trying to talk to, because the way you talk to a budget traveler is very different from the way you talk to a luxury traveler. And the same goes for UGC. You wouldn't send the same pitch to a $16 a night hostel in Mexico than you would a luxury resort in Japan. Do you know what I mean? Over on the Travel Creator Podcast, we get really nitty gritty on what's working for travel content creators. I'll see you over there.
On Fiverr, what kind of jobs are you getting on there? Like, is there maybe a main type of UGC that you're doing in terms of, do you do a lot of like script reads? Is it a lot of B-roll? Are you doing a lot of editing? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's about a mix. So I edit about, I say right now it's about 50%. So 50% raw, 50% editing.
Okay.
Even the raw ones, they'll be like, hey, we need 4 shots of B-roll for this or whatever. I'll get a lot. I actually just got one today that's just B-roll. That's just clips. As far as like industries, it's kind of all over the board. So I have like my general UGC gig, and then I have all these other gigs that are like niche specific, like I was talking about, right? So my general one, the OG gig that I got top rated for, like that one gets the most action. That's just like general UGC, and people have me do all sorts of stuff. What's really hot right now is health and fitness stuff. I get a lot of like weight loss supplements, energy, and I mean things that are geared towards like my demo. And I'm 37, but I have like I'm often doing scripts in my late 40s and 50s, meaning like the script's like, hey, I'm Jeff, and ever since I turned 52, and I'm like, I should be really offended by that,
That's
but I'm
so
bald
funny.
and I've got like a crap ton of gray in my beard, so I've got that like versatility, I guess. But
That's awesome.
and they'll be like, yeah, I've got tattoos. I mean, I'm wearing a long sleeve right now, but so people will be like, yeah, I want you to wear a long sleeve for this and then go jogging. I'm like, oh, this is for sure a fitness ad, it's like as soon as they talk about that. So a lot of fitness. I'm doing a lot of podcast style ads. I don't know if you do those.
I never have.
Oh, dude, we need to talk. You need to do them.
Okay.
That $3,000 one I just told you about,
Yeah.
all podcast reads.
Yeah,
So I'll sit here and like I'm looking now because my camera's right in front of me and the screen's right here, right? So I'm looking at myself. I'll be like this and be like, oh, did you hear about that product? Like, that's crazy. Like, my buddy bought it, and like his joints are like feeling so much better after we played pickleball the other day. I can't remember what it was called. Well, oh yeah, let me see. He texted me. Oh yeah, it was called Joy Brands, and that's the ad. That's the ad, because it seems like you're getting a snippet of a podcast.
Yep.
And I think I've got like a decent podcast setup, so I think people like that. They're like, oh, this guy looks like a legit podcaster and stuff. And so I'm doing a lot of podcast ads, which has been great because, like, yeah, I don't have to do any B-roll with that, baby. That's easy for me. I could kick out those in 10 minutes, And then I'm trying to think of other industries. Like health and wellness is huge, anti-aging and stuff, but that just comes with my age, I think, and kind of my demo.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a crap ton of beard products, a lot of bald head products, stuff like that. A lot of books, surprisingly, interestingly enough. Another cool thing about Fiverr, too, this is kind of like off topic, but if you have, and I'm thinking about this, remind me, because books, right? If you have a 13-year-old, so any parents out there, I've got a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. Once your kid hits 13, they can actually have a gig under your profile.
Oh,
for kids UGC.
Cool.
And my daughter got paid $150 yesterday to do 5 shots with a comic book Bible.
Wow.
Right. And $150 to a 14-year-old, that's like a lot of lemonade stands.
Yeah.
And so it's a cool way to like for them to earn money. And it's like such a different generation they're gonna have than we did. Like, hey, dude, you could just make Wi-Fi money. This is called Wi-Fi money. Like, that's pretty cool.
I love that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, all sorts of different. That's kind of like some of the industries that I've been seeing a lot of, but it kind of changes by the season, right?
Yeah, there's so many different types of UGC. And this is like, even you just being like, yeah, dude, you got to get on like podcast UGC. This is just to say, like, the industry's always changing. There's always new forms of UGC. There's always new stuff going on. And even I've been doing this for, a long time, and I've never done a podcast like UGC. And it's just cool to be like, okay, cool. There's always new opportunities. There's always new stuff going on. I was just interviewing a student before this, and she was like, I love UGC because no day is the same. Like, you're working with new products, you're working with new brands, you're doing new styles of content, and like, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I it's fun too. Like when you can kind of position yourself like per the season of your life too. Like I've got a couple people that are like brand new babies in the community, or someone that's pregnant, or like I just remodeled my kitchen, and like I've been really trying to position kitchen brands. Like when I see, if I see gigs on platforms that have like, I'm getting these freaking baller kitchen knives sent to me, and that was my pitch, is like, hey, we just remodeled a kitchen. Yeah. It's really, really cool. We should do this video. They're like, all right, cool. Let's see it, And so it's kind of cool because then it's like you're getting paid, but then you're also making the money that you would have spent on stuff for that, right? Like I very, very, very rarely, I've only done 2 gifted collabs ever, and I did them for pickleball paddles because I needed them. And so I reached out to the brand. I said, hey, would you, and they didn't have a UGC budget. They've never done UGC. And I'm like, I'll do a video for you, but I want the paddle for free, $200 paddle for free, I'm like, I would have paid for that. So like, that's cool for me.
Agreed. Yeah, I think there's certain cases where it's like, yeah, if you don't mind doing a video or a few for a brand and it's like a product you really want or a more expensive product, like do it. Nobody's like, there's no police telling you.
And that would have been money out of your pocket, right?
Yeah.
So you count that as a net positive, I think. So
I agree.
yeah, it's fun. It's a fun industry. It's definitely the most fun, but also most stressful job I've ever had. As far as like when it's all on you, it's like, okay, it's stressful in a way that's like, but it's like a good stress. Like, I'll take this stress. I always say I'll take my worst UGC day over my best corporate America day anytime.
Yeah. That's so real.
Yeah.
Like how many brands are you working with a month? Like
that's a good question. So it's usually, I do about 75% of my stuff through Fiverr.
Okay.
And then the other 25 is going to be like inbounds.
Okay.
I'm trying to make that ratio go the opposite direction, right? I'd love to do 75% inbound, 25% Fiverr, but Fiverr's just keeping me super busy.
Yeah.
I probably do, I don't know, 15 brands a week, maybe. Dang. I try to keep it like 5-day turnaround. So I like in my head, I'm like, okay, if I can do with my rates, if I can do 2 to 3 videos a day, that's a really good day financially, right? Yeah. And so, 3 times 5 gets me about 15. I try not to work on the weekends. I always freaking do because I always like, I'll be a Friday afternoon. I'm like, let's go grab drinks or something. And then it's like, I didn't do any work on Friday, so now I got to work on Sunday, or whatever. But yeah, usually like between 10 and 15 brands a week is where I've typically been at. Q4 is coming up, so I'm sure October is going to be a freaking joke, But then January slows down a little bit. So you're going to have your, like any other thing, you're going to have your dead times. You're going to have your super busy seasons. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to like keep it maintainable so I'm not working more than I worked at my full-time job.
Yeah, that's a lot of brands. Like how long do each of those jobs usually take you?
It depends. I have some that they want like 4 full edits. So those ones will take me a couple hours. The ones that B-roll obviously take longer. The podcast ones, like the like a 30-second podcast read, to take me plugging all this stuff in and making, because it's like a different cord for my phone versus like the camera you're looking at right now is a webcam versus like phone goes here, right? And getting that set up. Like a 30-second podcast read will take me maybe 5 minutes. Like if I mess up the script a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Right. But that, like once you get in the flow, like I could kick out 10 podcast reads in probably like an hour. Dang. Right. And that's $300 a pop. So I'm like, okay, like I could literally do this whole $3,000 job in an hour, which is like, that's a good day. Right. And then you take the next day off. But then some take longer. Right. So it all evens out. It's not like it's not all easy. Some, like we talked about this, driving into the mountain. Like I have to this whiskey glass company just hired me, and I have to drive up into the mountains and put this cool whiskey glass, this Japanese whiskey glass, on like a cutting board up in nature.
Yep.
Like doing the shot's not going to take me very long, but driving up there and then like getting out and walking my butt 30 feet away from the road is going to take forever,
I literally have to do that today. After this, I'm getting in my car and I'm driving to the mountains because
Oh, really? What product is it?
It's actually literally so random, but it's a oral care brand, but their audience is very like outdoor granola, sustainable, clean ingredients type deal. But what I do for them is a lot of organic social media content, so trends and stuff like that. So yeah, I have to go up to the mountains today for that.
Yeah, that's like, so you'll have some that are like that take forever. Like, okay, I can literally only do one today because it's like between getting up there, it's going to take forever. So I'm luckily decently close to some places that look completely remote that are like, I could get there in like 7 minutes from where I'm at.
Oh, that's so nice.
I'm like right next to, I mean, we don't, but it's fun. But yeah, it just depends. Like some weeks are less busy, right? And then like the other thing about being completely self-employed too is like you figure, I love to travel. And I know we talked about this. I need to get into like more travel UGC when I travel and taking advantage of that instead of just like shutting work off completely. But then you have weeks where you're like, okay, if I take a week off, Like no one's compensated me for that week. I got to like make it up on the other 3, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all a balance, I guess. It's all a balance.
Yeah. Anything else Fiverr wise that we kind of didn't chat about that you want to make sure you say on this?
Yeah, I would say a couple things real quickly about Fiverr. I think a lot of people get on Fiverr, and besides the edits I just told you to do to your Fiverr gig that's not getting traction, Fiverr like lives and breathes off of metrics. So if you're like the easiest thing that will ruin your Fiverr gig is like your response time, for example. If people message you, like you're metered on all these things to be able to move up levels, and that's how you show up to brands when people filter by levels and by budget and by success score and things like that. So like just make sure that when you create your Fiverr account, you have to do it from a computer, and then after that it's all on the app. Just make sure you have notifications turned on, because like a very, very easy way to ruin your gig is by not responding to people within 24 hours. And that goes towards the thing called response time. And you want your response time between 90 and 100% all the time. And that response time is the percentage of people that you respond to their initial message within 24 hours. That doesn't mean their third and fourth message. Like you can take your time after that, but their first message, 24 hours is a long time. Like if you don't have notifications on, like you need to figure that out. This is your business, it's your side hustle. So that's like one thing that a lot of people miss. Like, well, my response time is like 30% because I forgot I had my phone turned off, or I went on a cruise. Like there's a way to turn an out of office on in Fiverr, so stuff like that doesn't happen. But like little things like response time, being professional, and you're like, I've heard people getting booted from there for like swearing at companies and stuff and just doing stupid crap. Being professional in your speech. Like again, you got to run this like a business owner. You got to have that mentality. And then my last tip would be the quickest way to get good reviews on Fiverr, because you cannot ask for them. You can't say, hey, can you give me a good review? That'll get you booted. You have to say, I usually don't even say anything about like, give me a review. But if you want to say, will you give me an honest review? You could do that. But I think the best and number one way to get reviews is to over deliver.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do a free second and third hook. You're already standing in that position with your camera. Okay. If you don't know how to do 2 more, throw the script into ChatGPT and say, hey, give me 2 more bonus hooks for this. And then you include them and you say, hey, just wanted to, here's your delivery. I threw in 2 extra hooks there in case you wanted to use those, free of charge, no cost.
Yep.
And people get stoked and they give you 5-star reviews. That's my best advice.
I love that. Amazing. Well, I am excited. So Nate and I are actually connecting soon in person in Nashville. There are several of us UGC coaches, and we're going to be kind of meeting up there. So I'm excited for that. And hopefully also we'll have some great conversations that will then relay into great podcast episodes for you.
Yeah. I'm excited. This is kind of a fun, I feel like UGC is very isolating a little bit. Right, like you're your own thing. A lot of people in your family and friends have no idea what you're doing. They just think you're like an influencer, but you're not, and it's hard to explain. And it's cool to be able to connect with like-minded people, and especially, yes, being a UGC person is isolating, but then being a UGC coach is like no one can relate to me. I would love to talk to somebody about the problems I'm having and the questions I have. So I'm excited to get together with you guys. The swag turned out pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm excited. Yeah, you guys are gonna see us sporting our cool merch. I love it.
Merch.
I love it. So you have a course that you sell all about Fiverr. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's 70% Fiverr. Basically, after this, probably same for a lot of coaches, right? It's like, once you start doing UGC, once you start getting good at UGC, and people start seeing you in ads, you get a million friends, family, coworkers, wife's coworkers asking you, hey, I saw you on an ad. Like, what is that? So you just say, cool. Like, can anyone do that? Yeah. Can you teach me how to do that? And like, after going to like countless free lunches and people buying me dinner, it got to the point where I'm like, I don't see my family anymore. I don't have time to do this. So I essentially built this course that teaches in the way that I like to learn. That's all on video. It's me with literally Fiverr up, teaching you exactly what to press and what to click and everything. So about 70% of it's Fiverr, and then how to use Fiverr as a launch pad into other platforms. I go through portfolio creation. I go through how to get land deals on X and Reddit. And then I think the most valuable thing, going back to the community aspect, is I do have a Discord community that comes with it for free. So it's like a one-time purchase. I'll send you the link. If you use the code podcast, there's a 15% discount on that as well. So with that price, it's like around, so it's $120 normally. So whatever that math is, it's like around $100 or something.
Right.
Math on the spot is not my strength. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I will link everything in the show notes for people if you are interested in diving more into the Fiverr world and learning from Nate. Highly recommend that. And if people want to connect with you, chat with you, where can they do that?
So TikTok and Instagram at Nate Flake Creates. So same handle, both sides. I'm not on X. I'm really bad at it. Same handle there as well. Nate Flake Creates. But most of like Instagram and TikTok is like the best way to connect with me there.
Love it. And then also, again, podcast plug. He has the UGC 101 podcast. It's great. I'll link our episode below as well if you want to go listen to that conversation. We talked a lot about what I do as a UGC creator and travel UGC and how I got into it, but I'll link that as well. But thanks so much for coming on, Nate. I think this is going to be kind of an enlightening conversation for people. I know even for me, it was even just like, it's just so interesting to hear the different ways that people are doing UGC, and also I think helpful to just have those kind of concrete tips for people who may be struggling with Fiverr or who want to get into it. So that's super helpful. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge on that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It was a way fun chat. Appreciate you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in this week, you guys. I hope this episode was enlightening and helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. If you want to become a UGC creator and get paid to travel, then my UGC Accelerator is for you. Fast track your UGC career with over 40 video trainings, live weekly Q&A calls, and direct access to me as your UGC coach. You'll get personalized feedback, accountability, and a proven 3-month roadmap to start getting paid UGC deals. Plus, an active community of over 100 other creators also on their UGC journeys. Some students have earned over $2,000 in UGC deals within weeks. And I have students like Lene, who quit her nannying job just 4 months after starting the program because of UGC. Or Katie, who's made over $12,000 in her first few months of pitching. Plus, there's a no-brainer guarantee. If you don't make back your investment in the program, I'll give you a full refund. So if you're ready to take UGC seriously, click the link in the description to learn more.